Back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, and Seminole Indians would trade with the Americans here.
Very interesting. Before the Seminoles were in this area, what tribes were out here? Do you know? Have a general idea?
I don't think anybody really knows. The pronunciation, but it's either AS or IAS Indians.
Okay, yeah.
They lived along the St. John's and the Indian River. They were well known by the Spanish. They kept records, and they were in constant association with them. But there were other tribes in the area. I'm not sure of the names.
I imagine so.
I know the Jororo Indians lived in the Kissimmee area. But along the St. John's, I'm not sure.
Look at this beautiful wide open spaces out here. So we're about to journey into this beautiful wilderness. We've got some folks out here enjoying nature as well. Howdy. We're getting close to the area we need to get to. 21st century expeditionist is reviewing his maps, checking his research. He's deep in thought. But rest assured, he will guide us there.
Lead on,
yeah,
leader.
He's leading us. So tell us, what do you think? Are we heading in the right direction?
Well, if the blind lead the blind, they both fall in a ditch. So,
sometimes we don't know where we're going out in these areas. We just roam the wilderness and just whatever we find, but we have a general idea of where we're going, what we're looking for. But
well, as you can see, there's not really a place to navigate.
That's right, it's all floodplain on either side of us.
You never know when you're going to run into water. Which I don't feel like getting wet today, so.
I have a feeling we are, because every time you say that, we do. Yeah, just beautiful wide open spaces out here. Cool breeze coming through, the sun is shining down. This to me is the most optimal time to be exploring these areas.
Oh yes, it's wonderful.
It's not as hot,
time.
Yeah, no bugs.
Wind's blowing a little breeze so it's not too hot. The sun's come down so it's not too cold.
You know what's cool is when you hike through these areas, you see a lot of these cattle. We have some cattle up here.
Oh yeah.
Just roaming through, so we have to make our way through these herds of cows. What do you think about that?
Oh, I know quite a few people that would be scared to do that.
Look at, there's a lot of cows up here.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of cows.
I'll have to show you guys this, but.
I just saw them out of the corner of my eye.
Got a little queen ant, guys. Got ants crawling on you.
Oh, there he goes.
You like ants crawling on you, huh?
Oh yeah,
You like ants?
Yeah,
you collected them, you said?
I was addicted to collecting them. I go out on these hikes with 21st century expeditionists, and I'm like the scoper. I just look along the ground and I can see a little queen ant crawling around that just went through his nuptial flight. That's when the males and the females, queens, they fly out of their nest and they find other of the same species and they mate with each other. And then the male goes and finds more, and he eventually dies, just straight up right after. And the queen ant, she goes and finds little nests, like little burrows. They can start nesting and producing eggs, and then that's how an ant colony builds. But sometimes when you're walking around, you can catch them right after nuptial flights, and you can just find them crawling around.
Yeah, because I've seen the flying ones. That's what they.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in the middle, and don't worry, female queen ants will not bite you, so you can just pick them up. And
seeing a lot of birds out here. It's a popular area for people to come out here and go birding, I imagine, because you got wide open spaces.
Oh yeah.
Like you were saying, you can see for miles.
You can see for miles. You can scope them out. They'll be out here hunting, sometimes you'll see them swoop down.
Yeah, I've seen some people out here taking some photos of them and things like that today already.
Oh yeah, we've seen a couple people, some people with full-on sets, tripods, just watching birds.
It's a big hobby.
Oh yeah.
Big passion for people. They can get quite expensive, that's for sure.
Oh yes.
Buying all those cameras and
binoculars.
but it's worth it because you get amazing shots with those.
Yeah, you can get some cool shots, some pretty good birds.
I used to watch this person on YouTube, and his channel was just about birding, and he had one of these really high-end cameras, and he could zoom in and get really close to these birds in their nest, and it's just amazing. I'm talking high quality footage, and I was thinking watching these videos that this person would have had to get in that spot and sit there for hours.
Yeah.
Just to be able to get some of the footage that they were getting, so it takes a lot of patience when you're birding. That's for sure. Have you seen any bald eagles before?
A couple of times. Me and 21st Century Expeditionists, we were out canoeing, and we've seen a couple birds, a couple of eagles out nesting in the trees.
It's pretty awesome.
We see them flying around one time. Even this one time, I don't know if we got it on camera or not, but we were canoeing down, and I think it was St. John's River, and we saw at least 5 or 6 bald eagles just swirling around in the sky. And we know they were bald eagles because you can zoom in and get close-up shots, but
That's amazing.
it was pretty cool. There was a bunch of them just swooping around.
It's great to see them. I've seen them too out exploring and hiking, and I've walked under a lot of trails where they'll have nests in the trees above me, and you go under the tree where you're walking.
Yeah.
I've seen like the juvenile ones too in the nest. You can see it up in the tree, and then the eagles flying around. It's just so beautiful.
It is very pretty.
Yeah.
And to think they almost went extinct at one point.
Yeah,
Such beautiful birds.
it's a majestic animal. All right, guys, we're getting closer to this Native American Indian mound. You said we're getting close to this historical area.
Yeah, it's about a 1/10 of a mile, a few tenths of a mile.
We're gonna go off the beaten path into the woods here. Take a journey back into the path. So we're talking about snakes out here. Jungle Jay's encountered lots of them. Have you been bitten by some, right?
Yeah, just the ones I handle. The king snakes, rat snakes, black racers, garter snakes. Nothing crazy, because as soon as I come across a venomous snake, I'm just like,
Yeah,
use a stick or something.
It's like someone taking a blackberry bush and scraping it down your hand. The teeth break off in you and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. But
You gotta be careful, right?
well, the thing is, snakes don't really brush their teeth, so you can get infections from it. But generally, I got a pretty decent immune system, so I haven't gotten an infection yet. But yeah, it's usually just a little mild discomfort, a little itch, and then I don't have the problem with it. Some people might, but I don't.
They're
Fantastic.
What's this, like a little canal here?
I think so. Cause it
Yeah,
goes
straight up. This is the
straight,
canal
so-
straight out, but this is old culvert. You see the rivets there on the end. This thing is ancient, but no, I like this. I'm afraid to go out on it because
Yeah.
it's so rusted underneath, and at the base of it right here, that I don't want to go out down on it because it might collapse.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to look down inside because you always find weird stuff in there.
Yeah, you can tell it's been there for a while. It's old.
Yeah. it's
This
definitely
canal,
old.
why would they make these canals like this through here?
Mostly for irrigation.
For farming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, get water from one point to another.
Let's turn the camera around this way so we can see the view of the canal. So it goes on for miles, right? Just
It seems like it.
Just that
At
way,
least a
behind.
couple.
because we've been hiking along that canal for a while now.
Yeah, well, I'd say we've probably gone 4 miles today so far.
Already?
Maybe.
Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, I could be way wrong.
Yeah. Well, we often wander for miles and you don't realize how far you get in these
Yeah.
places. But yeah, that's we just crossed over this little canal area. And actually that was more of an open area along the marsh and the floodplains. It looks more wooded ahead of us. You think we're heading more into the woods here?
It looks like it to me.
Yeah, I like
Looking
that.
forward to that. That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, me too. I like these floodplains, but I like a mixture of the floodplains and the woods.
Yeah, I like getting out into the floodplains a little bit, but the majority of the time, I like to be out in deep in the hammocks.
You see more. I mean, you see more out there that's open, but you see more wildlife and just interesting things in the woods, I find.
I
Right.
just prefer more of the jungly surroundings.
Yeah, that's why they call you Jungle Jay.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I've been to all kinds of environments, deserts. These are probably the most tropical ever been inside of the United States.
Yeah.
So I've never gone any further south than Mexico.
It's a very tropical feel here, like you said, right?
Yeah, it's
In these woods.
exactly what I love about this area is because it seems so tropical, even though it's subtropical.
Subtropical.
You know, lots of different plants grow, but we still get those cold snaps. So a lot of those really tropical plants just don't make it up here because it just gets too cold in the wintertime for them. I'm standing out here in the middle of a floodplain again.
His new name is no longer Jungle Jay.
What is
It's
it?
gonna be Floodplain Jay.
Floodplain Jay?
Yeah, Floodplain
What do you
Jay.
think of that? Because you hike so many floodplains, we have to change your name.
Yeah,
That's
but
hilarious.
that doesn't quite roll off.
Actually,
the
yeah, that might be a name someone might want to take.
tongue. Yeah.
You know,
Floodplain Jay?
I
Floodplain
mean,
Jay.
you might want to jump on that.
I got one
trademark.
for you, Floodplain Joe.
There you go. Jump on that trademark immediately, and
Yeah.
then you're good. You don't have to sell it to the guy who wants it.
Look at this. Now let's stop right here. Take a look at this view right here, guys. Look how jungly it is there.
Yeah.
It's dense back in there, right?
Yeah, this looks like a little road right here.
Yeah, actually it's a little off trail there, so that's what I'm talking about.
They go on and on. I mean,
You get in these spots, and like we're on a main trail right here, but you start seeing these dense areas, and there's little side trails you can see where it's like a game path or something maybe, or you can tell someone's been back in there or something, so you can follow those areas and find all kinds of cool spots, right?
Yeah.
Get that scope out.
Just seeing what that little solid object is. Could be some kind of critter looking at us. But
I've already actually just looking down there, I could see a lot of birds and stuff just flying through the trees, so you can tell.
the robins are going crazy right now. There are a lot of red-breasted robins flying about.
Well, 21st century expeditionist took off. He's ahead of us, and I'm tempted to go that direction, see what's back there, but we're gonna lose him if we do do that, right?
Yeah, he's my ride home right now. So
Yeah,
like,
I got you. Actually, we'll just stay out here. We don't need to go home.
Yeah.
This is our home.
this is our home now.
Welcome home.
Well, you know what they say: when you get lost in the woods, build a house, and you're no longer lost.
It's true. There's a spider up there?
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's a crab spider.
Right?
Mhm.
Crab spider?
Yeah, a little spiny crab spider. He's getting in my arm.
Will it
man.
bite you?
No. Look at his abdomen. It looks like a little face.
Jungle Jay likes the critters out here.
Yeah, he won't hurt you.
This is part of nature.
Mine's
Look at
Critter
this.
Jay, or Critter Jay.
Critter Jay.
All right, let's let this guy go. Come on now.
I usually see a lot of those in webs.
Yeah. I like them. I think they're neat. They got the little spines on them. They're very uncomfortable for a bird to eat. So evolution is an awesome.
Here we are approaching the mound, being led by Jungle Jay.
Are we by the mound?
Yeah.
Jungle Jay's looking for some guava.
Okay, we're exploring around this Indian mound. It's a really large mountain so far it seems, and it borders some of this floodplain and river area. Let's go down here and get a great view. You can see the shape of the mound here. See part of the old dock that was here. Wow, this is incredible, man. We hiked for quite a ways, and we discovered this Indian mound out here deep in the woods. We're right here on the edge of this floodplain where the water is. It comes up right where the mound is. We've been seeing a lot of shells and some pottery fragments around the area. What do you think?
It's really cool how it just shifts from a mound, like this little hill, and then it goes straight into just flat for miles.
Yeah, it's true. It's flat all around. Let's walk up here. It's flat all around these areas here in the floodplains, but when you get to this section, you can see the formation of the mound and how elevated it is on the floodplain here. And also consider this, long ago when this mound was in use, It's much larger. You gotta consider how large it would have been out here amongst these floodplains. And it's just been eroded over hundreds of years, thousands of years probably. So we gotta go find 21st century expeditionists and Jungle Jay. I think we lost them. Finally caught up with Jungle Jay here, and he's exploring around this Indian mound. Did you find some interesting stuff over here?
Yeah, the fallen tree over here looks like a fallen hackberry. It exposed some of the ground and shells, and you can see a couple of shards poking up out of the mud here.
Lead us over. Let's take a look. You can see a lot of exposed shells here. All right, we're here on this mound, and you can see where this tree is uprooted. There's all kinds of shells and even some pottery fragments here. What do you think of this?
It's crazy how you can you see like on mounds there can be trees falling over, and when the trees fall over it just uproots all these wonders that are hidden underneath the mound. You can find all sorts of pottery, bones, shells, mussels. I mean, this is Czech stamp pottery, more popular in the St. John's period. Over here you could see some turtle shell, and then a lot of these fragments of pottery can't be identified because either it's just plain pottery, like there's no texture on it, or the texture has been eroded over time, over thousands or hundreds of years of just sitting here.
Fascinating. Yeah, you can definitely see all the textures in some of these.
With a turtle shell, they would eat turtle, and of course, when the shell wasn't useful any to them, they would toss it in the mound.
So you see the turtle shells and stuff in these mounds too.
And an aquatic snail and aquatic mussel piled up. They would sit here like people shuck oysters, and
think of how long it took to compile all those, you know.
a long time. But it depends on the size of the village, of course.
Here's some old pilings here. These wood pilings, see them? All along this India mound. It's probably a part of a dock or something here, a bridge. What do you think?
Well, they're definitely older, so they must have had some sort of use. I'm thinking either the water level might have been a little higher at the time, and they might have built some sort of structure across the water.
Yeah.
Well, there were trading posts in the area, and if you go up here, there's some old bits. There's an old gas tank up here. There's the propane gas or natural gas tank, kerosene probably, and then there's some old drain field terracotta pipe, some concrete, some rebar, and stuff they would have had, you know, if there had something up here at one time.
Was this part of the trading post?
Well, there was trading posts somewhere along the river over here. I don't know exactly where, but there could have been others on this side as well.
Some more posts here in the woods.
Yeah, there's one right there, and there's one right here. Right now I'm looking to see if there was any more, so if it was any kind of structure that would hold something up, but I'm not really seeing any more, so.
Well, let's continue on this direction. 21st century expeditionists went in this general area here, so let's see if we can catch up to them. Oh, we found some stuff over here.
Looks like a water heater and a well tank reservoir.
So why would this stuff be on the Indian mound here?
I don't know.
Along with those pilings.
Terracotta drain.
Yeah, some of that piping.
Well, like I said, there was trading posts in this area. Could have something to do with that, or could have came later, but the Seminole Indians would trade with the settlers here in the early 1900s.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of folks lived on these mounds. They built cabins, and also hunt cabins, things like that. So it could have been an area that was used for different purposes.
Look at this beautiful, pristine area.
Beautiful views out here. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
taking it all in.
Decided not to film today. I decided to take a break and just enjoy myself instead of carrying around all my extra equipment. So I'm actually really just enjoying it all in, relaxing, keeping my eyes out for obviously snakes and things like that. Start carrying all that heavy equipment, I get tired and I'm like,
10-foot gator sunbathing out here.
That's true. Now we're coming up on the water here. This is beautiful. Amazing views out here. Is this the St. Johns River?
yep.
So we're right out here in the floodplain along the river where it goes through.
Well, this is part of it. I mean, there's a larger part just further out, but these are just like, it winds, it has all kinds of little offshoots.
Okay. That's amazing. You can walk right out into this area.
Yeah, it's awesome. I do, pardon me, but I have just had a little snack here.
Yeah, we're having a little break and taking in some food, need some energy. We've been hiking for a long time today. We still have a lot to see. You enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely.
These views are just unlike any other.
It's almost like a cartoon.
Yeah. It is. It's like a fantasy world out here.
Yeah.
That's why I like to capture these moments on video. A way to look back and to remember them. Once you leave these places, you always want to come back. It's just so magical. And it's hard to leave, actually, you know? Like, I don't want to walk out of here. It's so amazing.
Yeah, while I'm editing, I always like feel like I'm reliving the whole situation. I always remember back, just, man, I want to get back out on the boat. Man, I want to get back out on there. On that
Yeah,
boat."
it inspires you to want to go back out there. How deep do you think that water is?
No, less than 4 feet.
It's a little mucky through here. We found a hunt stand.
What are you hunting for up there?
Jungle Jay is hunting.
This is all, I mean, it looks like all grass.
Well, there's a road that follows that in the tree line there.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That's the road I was
That's not
attempting to
full of
take,
water.
but it was his idea to follow the river,
How's the view up there?
and I knew better.
It's a little cluttered because of the canopy.
Tried
but-
warning everybody.
But yeah, you can see. I didn't see any water out there, so
You wanted to go this way.
I'm thinking.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
thinking of trudging straight across back into that tree line over there, personally.
We
Instead of
go-
trying to go through all that mud out there.
Well, it might dry up. We're gonna get past that point.
It might.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Send Oakley out there to check it out first.
With a stick.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Deep.
scoping the area right now.
Yeah, that's pretty, man.
We're not lost, but we're just trying to find some kind of higher ground here to navigate to the area we're trying to reach. We thought we found a trail, but no trail, it's a creek. Climbing a tree?
Yeah.
Can you get up there?
Well, there's nothing to really grab.
There you go.
Pull myself upright, but
All kinds of cool trees out here to climb. Some airboats out here. This is a popular area for airboats to come out to. Comes Jungle Jay. Got some airboats out here. So is this another Indian mound, a shell midden?
looks like shell making them in.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of shells around here.
Mostly mussel.
Oakley, you saw some.
Yeah, there's quite a few laying around this tree right here. The tree's kind of tipping over, so it's pulling a lot of the shells and the mussel that were under the dirt and all the grass and everything, and the trees uprooting, so it's here.
Yeah, you can see some of the pottery fragments here. They have a smooth appearance. A lot of the ones we've been seeing are textured, but you're saying it could have been eroded off over time, some of the textures on these pottery fragments.
Well, they have plain type, but then they
Yeah.
have textured.
I see a lot of plain type and the textured throughout these areas. But yeah, you wouldn't even know this was a midden because it's...
Well, the first indication is you come up and you see the mussels. And you can definitely tell it wasn't brought in for road fill here. Sometimes it's just when the waters of the river flood, sometimes the shellfish get left behind, but when you start seeing other indications like potsherds, you definitely can tell it was a midden at one time.
Yeah. Well, it also would have been larger. I mean, it's kind of flattened out here.
Yeah, they could have plowed it, the farmers or ranchers that were here, or it just could have been a smaller midden, or a midden they started, they never finished.
Yeah, you could take a look here. Great views.
Could have been a camp village here at one time, maybe. Could have been a number of things. It looks like a very good place for a
Look,
village.
there's some shelters over there. So
yeah, that's something they put in.
airboats come up, hang out here. Can you camp out here?
I guess with a permit, yeah, they got registered campsites here.
Could you camp it right here under these shelters?
I think that's what they're for.
Okay. Well, this is a good area to take shelter. Come out here to this mound, and at least you have these shelters here.
Take a boat. Personally, I would canoe out here, but 'cause I like the exercise and just to be in a canoe the way that the Indians would approach the land.
How about a dugout canoe?
That'd take me all day.
That's how they would have done it.
Yeah, because they had the cypress dugout canoes.
We got Jungle.
The Seminoles, though, probably had better canoes.
We got Jungle Jay over here. I see his pack. There he is. What are you doing?
Yeah, he found a campfire.
Are you gonna make us some tea?
He found a campfire from the airboaters that were
Yeah,
here.
it's still going, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make
If you have enough, I'd like to have some tea.
Do you have have you seen some of that sage?
No,
I haven't seen any around this spot.
here we go. Yeah, it's hot. I can feel the heat coming off. What kind of tea are we making?
It's chaga, actually. Good buddy of mine, Jay Pigeon from Wood Pigeon Outdoors, sent that to me, and I've had it a couple of times, especially in emergencies, like when I forget like my black tea or my PG tips or something. That one's always in the bag, ready to roll. So I just shave off some and just boil it up. And apparently you could reboil it a couple times, but I like it the first go around.
So peaceful and relaxing here.
Take over a fire left by the airboaters.
Yeah, there were airboaters out here earlier. They probably started the fire, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Most likely. They put it out, but it was still kind of warm here, so
We're making some tea.
Jay wanted to make some tea, and
Yeah.
why not?
I didn't want the fire to go to waste. So I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I feel like some tea.
Right on the river here.
Yeah,
the Indians
absolutely.
would have sat here and enjoyed this river.
This would have been a view they had.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much different.
Except for the clothing.
So there's a lot more Indian mounds out here to explore. We only saw maybe a couple today. We were trying to reach some other ones. They were just too far out of the way. Didn't have time to get to them this time, but we will. We'll come back.
Well, some of the paths were under a foot of water.
That's true. Some places were just impassable.
Well, you could be eaten. That's the thing.
Yeah. We're walking over a lot of this wiregrass, and there's snakes and alligators throughout those areas too, right?
Oh
You gotta watch out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Don't know what you're walking on top of when you walk through some of these places.
Could be walking on a diamondback rattlesnake for all you know.
Well, you got to think when the Indians lived here, they had to deal with this terrain, and they learned how to survive and live in these wetlands. And
It's
deal
true.
with the snakes and the panthers and everything else.
This
And then
is-
when the Spaniards marched through some of these areas, they had to march in full armor, weighted down, and they were completely exhausted after a mile.
I bet that would be heavy
And
stuff
then-
going through some of these areas.
So I mean, this is easy walking here
Yeah.
compared to what the Indians had to live or
Yeah,
Well, you know,
deal
it's
with
also weight. Not only are they weighted down with all the armor and all the gear and everything, they don't know this environment like the
and they're
locals
lost in here.
do. Yeah. They get chewed up by mosquitoes. They're freaking out, slapping each other in the neck. Can you imagine? That would be miserable.
Well, during the Seminole Wars, the Seminoles cleverly led some of the U.S. soldiers into areas where there was a lot of snakes and stuff, because they weren't prepared for that kind of terrain.
Sure, right.
yeah. We saw a pygmy snake today,
Yeah, pygmy rattlesnake.
right on the trail. So you gotta watch out for that. They're so small, and it's hard to really see them sometimes. So you get up close, and they can blend in with the environment. It's so nice. And
Yeah, that was a really good one.
it was cool seeing it. Just gotta be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, his little rattle and everything. It was cool. He was just relaxed.
Yeah, most times they don't be bothered. They just want to sit out here, get energy from the sun.
Well, Jungle Jay, most people pray not to run into an eastern diamondback. He wants to
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
into an
Oh,
eastern.
look at this. Yeah, I get all excited.
Of course it is.
You were excited to see some snakes today.
Yeah, yeah, I'm always excited because they make for great content and they're so misunderstood and they're so awesome. And
They're beautiful. Seeing them out here, it's part of the nature out here. I really don't want to leave this area. I just want to come down here and get another view of the sunset here on the floodplain. I know you guys enjoy it.
oh yeah,
Yes. Beautiful view.
you got a long ride home too, so you might as well get in as much as you can.
That's right. It's worth it though, making a trip out to these places. It's all worth it. Now take a look behind me. See that sunset. Hopefully it's not too much glare in the camera, but amazing views. And this trail goes for miles along this floodplain. And that's just that view you get the whole time when you're walking back during the sunset, and even coming here during when the sun's coming up, it's beautiful too.
Mhm.
So different times of day, it's beautiful all around.
Yeah, it definitely provides different opportunities, different views, different ways to look at it when different times of the day.
And
so.
different wildlife you can see.
Yeah.
Like right now, this time of day, you probably can see some wildlife if you get back in some of these areas.
Yeah, it's deer start coming out, the armadillos start coming out, birds.
We saw some deer actually coming back. Up here we saw a couple deer.
Mm-hmm. They're so far off though. It's like you need a really good zoom lens for it. to see
Yeah.
them.
Well, we were looking at them in your scope,
Yeah.
so we could see them in a distance, but to get them on camera for the video here, it can be challenging, 'cause they're pretty elusive sometimes.
Yeah. Don't want anything to do with those.